Welcome to another video. My name is Kurt with Kurt Graphics. You can reach out to me for your graphic needs. Also, if you're looking to get your apparel screen printed, you can reach out to Circle City Inc. We're in Indianapolis, Indiana. Okay, today the video that I'm going to go over is a sped up video for a design that I did for my nephew. It was a graduation shirt, and I'm just going to give you a couple of tips and tricks on what it took for me to do this job successfully and smoothly. So usually when I do a picture for somebody, or I do art that involves a picture of a person, I like to get several different pictures. Whether I'm using pictures of them in a collage type format, or whether I'm drawing the person over, turning them into a cartoon, it's always good to have several different references. The reason that I like different pictures, or I prefer to work with different pictures, is because seeing the different angles or different moods of the person gives me a hint of their personality and characteristics, which I can apply to the art, but it also gives me the art itself. Or it can become the art itself, especially if we are talking about drawing. In this case, we're not drawing, we're using real life pictures, so I'm not going to go into depth about the benefits of illustration when it comes to having multiple pictures. I just will let you know that there are benefits whether you are using the real picture itself or whether you're drawing that person over as a cartoon character. I'm using the freehand tool so that I can navigate around the images. The reason that I'm doing that is after I trace around the image, I can, what I call, hole punch the background using the simplify tool inside of Corel Draw. So what I'm doing here, as you see the video sped up, is I'm going around and I'm giving the images that I chose a very fine trace. Let me go back for 1 second. Having multiple images in this case helped because I had a concept of how I wanted to do these graduation tees. I wanted to show growth in that, people in the family that know him and support his path, I wanted them to be able to realize that they have been growing there with him. So I wanted to use a range of pictures from his younger years to his older years, and for that I needed a lot of pictures. So the picture that you currently see me tracing is the first picture that I chose, and the requirements of what I used to choose were resolution, meaning I wanted to find one of the highest resolution pictures possible. Coloring, I wanted to use a picture that was popping and a picture that had color, and preferably a picture that matched with something that was already in the art that I was whipping up. So as you see in the bottom left hand corner, I had already begun the process of working on the art. I didn't have the images, but I had the wording together, knowing that I was going to use images. I just didn't know how I was going to place them in the art. So I knew that I was going to use gold and maybe a little bit of burgundy, and definitely I was going to use some of this cyan looking blue. So when I first saw this picture, or the picture I was just previously tracing, I felt like the colors matched up well with the art that I was doing. I could incorporate it easily and didn't have to make many changes in tones or shading. Okay, so after I found that pic, I believe that was a pic of him at his oldest, I then began looking at pics in range going down the years, down to when he was a baby, without having too many pictures that were close together in age or too many pictures that had too much gap in age. And I use the same requirements. So I'm looking at the resolution of the pictures, what tones the picture are using as far as colors, and also kind of trying to match the outfits together in a way that they kind of coordinate, so I'm not using colors that are just out all over the place. I don't want to use more than, let's say, 6 colors in this job, as far as like what the most of the colors will be. Of course, it's going to be some white, some black, some blue, some green, some yellow, some orange. There's going to be a lot of rainbow in this colors because it's realistic. But I'm saying for the most part, I wanted to stick to like the gold, the black, this blue that you see, and the white. And I did so by picking out certain colors. So after that, I used the trace tool to trace as close to the image that I could without including any of the background. And this is very important to do because if you take a picture after you crop it or you trace it and you remove the background that you originally had and you put it up against another background, any flaws will then show. So the cleaner you get that trace with the freehand tool, the cleaner your overall image is going to be. Okay. So after that, it was pretty much just a visual design thing, like getting everything sized right, um, getting the proportions, and basically just getting my idea to come to life. So it took a lot of readjusting, as you see, as far as me deciding what the size was going to be, or what the placement was going to be of each image. I knew that I was going to want them in order from youngest to oldest. I knew that I wanted the youngest picture to be the smallest, and naturally it would, because he would be a baby. So I did have some planning around this, and then I kind of used what I know doing art and spacing and sizing to work in my idea. Something real quick on this file. These two images, the one on the left and the one on the right, they are sitting on top of the wording, or they're sitting on top of the 2005. After I traced them, I simply just sit them in a position to look like they were either leaning up against the letters or sitting on top of the numbers. I'm sorry. Okay. These two images in the middle, where he has the backpack on and with this blow around his neck, they are locked inside of this image, which is, the effect is called power clip. So if I move this 2025, the yellow portion, you'll see he is locked in there. Okay. This portion is clear. This was all just contour and background color behind my initial numbers, which was the 2025. So while I have this selected, if you look up to the left, you have an edit option. If I click edit, I can go in here and move my power clips around. So I can make this bigger. I could maybe have put him inside the 2. I could have put him inside the 5, and I hit finish, and you see what my result is. Okay. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention is that when you're power clipping, you still have several images. So this 2, I can delete, and I would still have the 5 with him in it. So if I wanted to put an effect on this image, because it's several images, I would be limited. So I would turn this into a bitmap, which would keep the same look, but it would give it a transparent square background, because it would now be a bitmap. But after this, I'm sorry, I turned it black and white. I have to put that on color. Okay, so after this, I can manipulate the shape more, meaning I can add a gradients, add fader tool, add transparency. This program works in layers. So I had limited options when I had several group objects together with a power clip inside of them. After I do all my edits and make sure that it's exactly where I want it inside of the numbers, then I turn it to a bitmap so I can do further editing. I always too save 2 copies of whatever graphic I'm doing. So if I go back to the first sheet, I have everything that I had broken down. I even have the black from when I did the outline. So I keep my work or my trash just in case I need to go back and make minor changes, until I'm just completely done with that artwork. I know it's finished, it's ready for print. The customer's not making any changes. Yeah. So I just want to let you know